played in his last game as a Miami Dolphin after Dolphins general manager Chris Grier said it's in the best interest for all parties to move forward separately. Meanwhile, the GM says he doesn't want to trade wide receiver Tyreek Hill unless 2 first-round picks are on the table. All right, Lewis, would it be a mistake to move on from either Ramsey or Hill for the Dolphins?
No, I'll say no only in this regard. Look, I love Jalen Ramsey. I've got to meet him, got to talk to him. Look, his positional versatility, his competitiveness, it's second to none. It's second to none. And Tyreek, the same way. His production on the football field is second to none. We know what kind of game breaker this young man is. This usually goes far beyond, though, what you feel as though their value on the football field is. This seems to be something that has to do with whether or not these players are rather happy in their present situation, whether or not they are having a positive impact on the other people in the organization, at their current time, and whether or not, you believe as a general manager and as a team builder, it's just better to get their presence moved on to some other football team because it's not having the kind of positive impact that it needs to have at their present location. That's what this sounds like to me, because you can easily make the argument that these guys are still very, very productive players that you can win a lot of football games with. This seems like a culture situation at this point in time.
Lewis, will you stop it, bro? Come on, man. You're too connected. You know too much about football to just give us that answer. That's not good enough. You know what this is about. They don't believe they can rely on Tua Tagovailoa. Period. The health, I'm clearly not talking about his game. I'm talking about his health. Because if you believe that brother is going to be able to stay up, okay, and be behind center for you, why are you wanting to leave the Miami Dolphins? You're not wanting to leave. You're wanting to leave because guess what? You know that your season has fallen apart over the last couple of years because of his lack of availability for obvious reasons, and we all wish him nothing but the best. Come on, man.
You're saying that these two players in particular are saying, look, we may want to move on because we don't believe in Tua Tagovailoa. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying those two players don't believe in the durability. They don't believe that this is a guy that's going to last 17 games and being able to take. I'm just talking about from a health standpoint.
I got you.
You know how physical football is. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Maybe we're saying the same thing. I just kind of framed it in a different way. Look, I'm framing it from Chris Grier's perspective. I'm saying it from Chris Grier's perspective. That's all. I'm saying, look, maybe we don't think these guys can still perform, but I just don't think that it's probably not the best idea maybe to keep them here at this point. Because they're just not going to give us the impact that we want for other reasons, whatever those reasons are. We're saying the same thing, though, Stephen.
And Tua is one of those reasons, and they're 0-2 in the playoffs with the two of them on the team. I mean, they lost to Kansas City, they lost to Buffalo. So, I mean, they're paying him a fortune, and they haven't won a playoff game. Yeah. So you might as well trade him. I don't have any problem with that. Now, the mistake they made is they gave Tua $212 million guaranteed.
Yep.
And he's not a $212 million quarterback for a variety of reasons.
Right.
Health is one of them.
Right.
It's a major problem.
Poor Sanders at number 9. Someone else goes up and gets Jackson Dart at number 21. And Aaron Rodgers tells you, you know what? Upon further consideration, I've been in a dark room. I went on another one of my plant medicine trips, and I have made the decision. His words, not mine. I watched Enigma. I've decided I'm retiring.
And that's it, huh?
And now you're the Steelers. Now what? I mean, what?
Well, you know what? On the surface, it looks like that's pretty damn bad.
Pretty bad,
right?
Yes.
But there's a name on that graphic that's not there.
What's the name?
You know the name.
You're going to tell me Tyler Shuck, aren't you?
Absolutely right. You know what? And look, I think at this point in time, like in all seriousness, I think for Pittsburgh right now, if you're Omar Khan, if you're Mr. Rooney, if you're Mike Tomlin, you have to be operating right now with the idea being we may need to address quarterback early on, regardless of what Aaron tells us, whether he comes or he doesn't. Because this is not just about next year for them. I mean, look, this is a football team that you can't constantly be pushing things down the road saying, hey, you know what? We got to build the offensive line. We're going to get some more wide receivers. You got to get quarterback right. That's what you've got to do. They're not much different than what the Giants are in terms of, like, ownership has to be looking at them going, hey, look, man, we got to make sure that we have this position sewed up. Because since Ben left, we kind of been like spinning in the wind with this position right here. We got to make sure that we are looking at this thing holistically, meaning both now in the short term with Aaron and in the long run. If we think there's a quarterback there that can be a decades-long guy, look, we already said sitting up here, we've already said that there's been GMs and coaches who have said Tyler Shuck's the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
Who knows what Arthur Smith thinks about him yet? We don't know what Mike Tomlin thinks about him. He was one of their early guys who they brought in for a top 30 visit. We do know that.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. That looks like a pretty bad scenario. But I don't think all hope is lost if that happens.
He plays in the conference that you cover for us, the ACC. How good is Tyler Shuck?
He's extremely good. I love his arm strength. I love his ability to throw with different arm angles. I felt like he came into that Louisville offense and really kind of grabbed the bull by the horn, so to speak, because I got a lot of respect for the Brown brothers. They do a great job of developing quarterbacks at the college level, but also as the season went on, this guy could stretch the football down the field. That's what Pittsburgh needs. When you got DK Metcalf and Pickens on the other side, you need somebody that can literally stretch the football down the field. So he will bring that to that offense. Personally, though, you go with a veteran here if you're Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh already has a playoff-ready roster. So I don't believe you necessarily go and get a guy in the first round, Lewis, and try to say, okay, we expect you to take us to the playoffs. Call Kirk Cousins if Aaron Rodgers isn't available and get him to come there and be your quarterback, and then maybe take one in the third round if you can.
You got to talk them into it.
No doubt, but I'm just saying it can happen.
Talk to me, Steelers, Rodgers, what?
Yeah, well, Rodgers, they're waiting on. I mean, like, to me, like, I don't know that Aaron Rodgers moves the needle dramatically for the Steelers this year, right? Like in terms of making them a Super Bowl contender based on what we've seen from Aaron Rodgers the last couple of years. So I think he's their best veteran option right now in their eyes. And it would be great for them if he signed because that's their plan A. But in terms of the 21st pick, you know, if you're taking a guy that maybe is a second round pick at 21 in the first round, you're doing it because you know you need to get this fixed for the long term. And in Pittsburgh's case, you don't have a second round pick.
Correct.
You already traded that for DK Metcalf. So they may be the team that has to stretch because of how important it is for them to solve this.
I think they need Rodgers desperately to play for them.
Absolutely.
They put themselves in a corner here. That is a veteran roster invested at positions like defensive end with TJ Watt and with guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick and Cam Hayward who are veteran guys, and that wide receiver room is not toxic yet. But you can't put a rookie in there, Tyler Shuck, and say, go deal with George Pickens and DK Metcalf and get them up. It's not happening.
It's true.
It's not happening.
It's true.
So you put yourself in this corner when you didn't re-sign Russell or you didn't sign Justin Fields and you said, we're going to wait on Rodgers. Well, the clock is ticking. I don't know what they're waiting for.
I would love for Mr. Rooney to get back in front of the
imagine.
camera again now, like he was at the owners' meetings, where he was nice and cool and collected, and he was just like, hey, we're going to wait a little longer. It's going to be good. I'd like to hear what he
If you're Omar Khan, is Rooney knocking on the door at 6 a.m. every day to be like, we have an answer? Do we have an answer? Every single day?
No, I would be hard-pressed to think that he's not. I mean, because this is really, this is just going on and on. And you're right, it's put him in a position where, are they going to really, if Aaron just decided, like, I'm done, come on now. You're not going to go into the season with just Mason Rudolph. I don't care who's in your wide receiver room.
Let me pause on this for a minute. We have much more coming on it. The Giants are having a private workout with Shedeur Sanders tomorrow in Colorado. We'll tell you why that may say much more about the team than it does about the quarterback. We'll get to that, but first it's the heavyweight showdown everyone's waiting for. It is Hembo versus Graziano. Here we go. Who was the last New York Giant who was named first-team All-Pro as a rookie? This is a great question. And
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng, và hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là áo phông. Mọi người, hôm nay tiêu đề của mình sẽ có là cục đá. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nhá.